Kimberly.
It started. It just goes on and on. Now that's probably my mother saying I'm a missing person. I'm not missing. I'm just.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Well, like I said, she's still looking, but immediately whenever she puts your real name in, this is the first thing that popped up, and I looked at it and I said, I can see the smile, and I can kind of see it in the nose, especially in the black and white picture, because it's a little bit clearer than the one on the right. Did you have red hair at one point?
It made no sense. You may not believe me on that, whatever, but to me as a mother, I'm like, take my son.
So far, when we first started talking, I'm like, she's but
no, I am.
There's some.
And that I can't believe it. Come on, you can't pull me up. Do you need to print me?
No. They're working on that.
It shouldn't take that long. It's a computer. It's 2018.
Yeah, well,
it's not 1992.
I actually had to call our crowd analyst back in. She was probably like, "It's Friday night." So,
oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, so she's probably not happy with me right now.
Sorry.
No, it's not. No, it's all right.
I told them.
She'll get paid overtime.
St. John's ignored it. I'm like, okay. Whenever I went before whoever, I told him, my name is. I've been running from the FBI forever. I think I said with him only 20 years, but it's longer than that.
Was that the judge or one of the detectives down there?
I don't know. Wherever they take you in before somebody. So I was with all these other people we stood, I guess, before a judge. But I said, my name is Kimberly Lee Kessler. My birthday, I've been running from the FBI forever.
Well, I appreciate you being honest with us.
Told him, and I think he just laughed at me. And he said something else, and when he sit down. So
he probably was like, didn't believe you. He's probably thinking, she's sweet, I've been in this.
Print me. I didn't erase it with acid. It crossed my mind, but I thought, how can I work with my hands all
With a mix of humor and pride, Kimberly talks about her struggles with algebra, a subject that prevented her from completing college. At first, this story seems irrelevant, but it's a clever tactic to divert the detective's attention. By sharing lighthearted anecdotes about rewriting homework repeatedly to pass her classes, Kimberly attempts to portray herself as an ordinary person, masking the danger she truly represents.
You got to have a tremendous amount of intestinal fortitude, because you're like, to do what you've been doing for the last 25 years, you're strong.
And it wasn't easy, because my childhood was, not to give the old childhood story, but my childhood was like, my mom is something. She nearly killed me, that woman. She used to beat us until we stopped crying. So yeah, I can control tears. I can control tears to the point of extreme amounts of pain, because that's what I've been, that's how she does it. I've seen some horrible things too that she did. It was like really kind of mean, but at any rate, so that's how I was raised. So and I was an honor roll student. I went to high school up until like a month before I was supposed to graduate, and then something terrible befell me that I never was expelled or got any, never even got detention. I was an honor roll student. I was a cheerleader, but my mom started like acting crazy on me, and I started hanging out with the crowd that would take me in, which is what we called back in the 80s. I graduated, or would have graduated in 86. The burnout crowd, because their parents are lenient. My mom threw me out there like, yeah, you can crash over here. Heck yeah, I'm tired. It's cold. I have no coat. I gotta be at school. And I dropped out all my higher classes, the calculus and all that. I dropped out of everything and took like
What state were you in high school?
Pennsylvania. So I took the lower classes, home ec. Stuff where you don't have to do homework, or very rarely. I took all the easy classes. I had everything I needed to graduate. I just needed to make it. So I took everything easy, lots of study halls, because my mom was acting crazy. I'm like, so I can, I didn't miss school, but I didn't have much required of me when I made it. So that was easier.
When my senior year in high school, when I graduated in 86.
The conversation delves deeper into Kimberly's psyche as she describes how she has survived for 25 years. She speaks of it as a proud accomplishment, yet each story carries a tinge of bitterness and regret. I didn't let anyone get too close to me, she says, as if loneliness was the price she had to pay for freedom. But was it really freedom? Or was it a self-imposed prison fueled by the fear of being caught?
As well.
Of course, because we're the same age.
Yeah, and I had all the required courses I needed except for one. I needed literature.
What?
And I had everything.
I took that in the 9th grade.
And so my senior year, I had literature first period. The rest of the day, I was like, I had shop. I was a coach's aide. I had weightlifting. I had just totally.
Why did you take easy classes? classes.
And I love it. It was a great senior year. But I got to tell you, when I went to college, I regretted it because I had never taken. And it sounds weird so much. We never had to have algebra to graduate when I graduated high school. I don't know if it was that.
I took algebra
but we didn't have to have it here. And when I went to college, I'm telling you, the only class stand between me and my college degree is algebra because it just kicks my ass.
It's not bad. 7th grade algebra, 8th grade algebra 2, 9th grade geometry, and then I was supposed to be calculus 10th grade, and that's when she started acting whack, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna drop out of this.
That's what got me was math too.
I like math. It represents numbers, money.
Some people have a mathematical type brain, and some people just. That's my opinion. And I can do normal math, but
you can do it. You just didn't want to. You could have done it. You could have done it. You could have done it. This is what I did in college because I ended up taking pre-calc, I guess, or whatever. And I would do the homework like 2 or 3 times, like do it over, write out, and again, until I kind of memorized it, I guess, until I felt comfortable. And then by the time I took the test, like I had all the whatever formulas kind of in my brain, so like I would get an A. And there were kids in the class way smarter. They had this IQ that was like a nuclear bomb, right? Huge. And they were failing. I'm like, are you kidding me, jokers? Because it was, but I mean, it was just kind of brute memorization, like repetition, like writing something on the chalkboard like 50 times or 100 times, like just over and over.
When the detectives ask why she was arrested, Kimberly quickly acknowledges being suspected of Jolene's disappearance. Instead of addressing the accusation head-on, she deflects by recounting how she met Jolene's 2 children and felt heartbroken seeing them play without their mother. Is this a deliberate attempt to distract and win sympathy? Or is it her way of stalling as the truth closes in around her?
But it got me through it. So, I mean, if I can do it, I know you can do it. You just didn't feel like it. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't feel like it in high school. Because I did it in high school when I was younger, and it would have, they say when you're younger it's a little easier to learn. I don't know if that's true or not.
And always get a tutor.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back and kick that algebra's ass one day. It's on my bucket list to
if I did it right, I would have
that
graduate in summer school. But I'm a summer school graduate.
Good for you.
But and you talking about tired of running and turning things around. It sounds like to me if anybody could do it, you could probably.
What's the next chapter for you? I
don't even know. I am so grateful my son is alive and well. You don't have any idea. I'm so scared. His dad, no one's perfect, right? So I don't know. We all have our whatever. There's some stories I could probably tell, but he told me that with his sister-in-law that I couldn't believe, and I saw it on the news later. Whoa, curl some hair. I might hold that back for the FBI. Unbelievable, because after I saw it years later, because I don't have a TV, and I see it on the internet or whatever, and I'm like, I remember him telling me about that. They really did that. Oh my God! Did you ever have that?
Well, you may have some stuff that you can help out with that can help you with the situations you're in.
I don't know, but I'm grateful my son's alive and well. I'm so grateful. So grateful. And his dad, one of the things his dad did whenever...
Kimberly Kessler continues her performance in the interrogation room by spinning yet another story. This time, she describes the father of her son as unstable and recounts shocking behavior from when her son was just 3 months old. With a tone that mixes sincerity and victimhood, Kimberly tries to steer the conversation, seemingly to persuade the detectives that she's a mother who has suffered great injustices. However, her eerie calmness and ability to fabricate a story instantly suggest that this isn't the first time she's employed such tactics. Kimberly is attempting to manipulate emotions, but the detectives quietly observe, waiting for her to slip up.
Evan was like 3 months old. And I don't even know why. I think he was on drugs. He always said he wasn't, but he acted so wild. And his dad took us, and he was just acting kind of crazy, and he's like, give me Evan. It was at night. And I'm like, for what? Like, he was never even interested in the baby before. It's like 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, for what? Like, give me the baby. I'm like, for what? And he goes to, like, grab him, and I'm like, he's 3 months old. You can't wrestle over a 3-month-old. They're fragile.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And he just took his head and like pushed it up, and I didn't want to like resist because it's the baby, and he pushed his head into my head, not very hard, but it made him cry, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, he just did that, and it was the only thing that he ever did that, you know, was like nasty, but I'm like, I'm gonna call the police, you need to go, what is wrong with you? And he was just kind of, but here's the thing. Evan's alive and well. He didn't kill him.
Do you plan on trying to reconcile with Evan?
That's my baby. That's my son. That's my only
When's the last time you saw
child.
him?
He was a baby. I don't know,
You gotta-
14
you gotta-
months,
you gotta
15
wanna
months.
see him. Thinking of on the map, do you know why you're here?
Yes, I'm being accused. You accused me the other night of you're like, where's Jolene at? So and I do not know where she is.
Okay.
I have
Because
no
that's,
idea.
you know, and the other night, and I think I apologized to you the other night because, you know, I just,
Kimberly has spent over an hour in the interrogation room without once asking why she was arrested or when she might be released. Instead, she's turned the conversation into an emotionally charged narrative, seemingly aimed at gaining the detective's sympathy. However, when the discussion shifts directly to Jolene's disappearance, she quickly denies any involvement and claims she deeply cares about Jolene's family, especially her children. Is this an attempt to divert attention or simply a stalling tactic? Kimberly's emotions seem perfectly controlled, but the detective's sharp eyes remain fixed, refusing to be swayed.
when I talk to you and tell you that family means a lot to me, you know, a couple days ago I met Jolene's two sons, and I mean, they were literally, I mean, they were, I call it, and it's probably not the best term to use because people will look at it and go, that's kind of a prejudice statement, and I don't mean it that way, but you know, my mom, when I was a kid, she'd say, stop running around like a wild Indian. I mean, that's what it reminded me of, because her two little kids were just, literally, I'm standing there, and one of them's running between my legs, just running around, and they're all over the floor, and I'm like, you know, they were running around like wild Indians. I don't mean that in a negative way. And it was just, you know, it broke my heart because I was like, you know, where is she? It's, you know, she had been reported missing. They said, you know, there's no way that she's not going to be with her kids. And so I probably come across harsh when I talked to you the other day. And for that, you know, I didn't mean anything by it, but like I said, I want to know, I want to be able to find her, and I want to be able to get her back with her little boy. It's just like, you need to go and be with Evan, she needs to be with her kids, okay? So again, if I come across, you know,
You're just doing your job, I understand.
But it's more, it is my job, but at the same time, I try not to let your, you know, in my job, you try not to let your emotions get involved, but sometimes even, I've been doing it for 21 years, sometimes I let things get to me that I shouldn't let get to me, and at least until later on when I'm not trying to have a conversation with somebody.
Well,
you kind of put those things to the side and you worry about them later, and maybe I didn't do a good job of that when I started talking to you.
You're fine. Feelings are just kind of a funny thing because I was raised by kind of stout German people that are like, suck it up, you don't show feelings, I'll beat you until you stop crying. So we're like, we finally learned. It only took a couple beatings, we're like, okay, we got this under control. But feelings are like a funny thing because you got to somehow deal with them. And I've never really quite figured that one out. Like, where do you stuff them? Well, I stuff them in different places, and I end up stuffing my face because I'm going to do something wrong to like try to quelch that. Because we all have, you know, feelings that aren't positive. Not everyone's happy. I mean, we all have things in our life, you know. So, and I stuff it with food, which is not good. And other people do it with drugs and alcohol or whatever. The right way to do it is like going to the gym.
The investigation reaches its most intense phase as undeniable evidence begins to surface. Jolene Cummings may have disappeared, but traces of her are everywhere. Jolene's DNA was found in Kimberly's car, on her clothes, and all over the Tangles hair salon. Security cameras captured Kimberly leaving the salon with large, heavy bags. At Walmart, she was seen purchasing trash bags, cleaning supplies, and even an electric carving knife. These actions not only heightened suspicion, but also created an increasingly tense atmosphere in the interrogation room.
Can we just go through when you worked with her on that Saturday so I can, is there anything you can tell me that, did she ever talk to you about a boyfriend? I know she's got a husband, I know she had a boyfriend. Did she ever talk about anybody she was scared of? Did she ever say anything that she wanted to run away and get away from it all? I mean, you know.
I don't remember hearing anything. She would have different conversations sometimes with different clients, because different clients, you don't tell every client. You know what I mean? Like, but the one client that, what was it? The one I told you, what was it? She was saying CPS came to her house. She was telling one client that I caught a little blip of it in between listening to YouTube and the phone ringing, and I remember hearing her say she thought her.
Kimberly continues to deny any involvement in Jolene's disappearance. In an apparent attempt to divert attention, she claims to have found a small bag of what looked like drugs near the back door of the salon. She implies that Jolene might have been involved in drug use, trying to shift the investigation in another direction. What's chilling is how Kimberly recounts this with complete composure, showing no signs of anxiety or panic. Is this another lie, or part of a carefully crafted narrative she's weaving?
Her ex-husband, or her husband, was doing to get out of paying child support. That's all I heard, and I don't remember ever hearing about a boyfriend ever. But then again, I don't always really pay attention. And as I told you before, Miss Ann, she really talked to Miss Ann. Like, her and Miss Ann would go out back and they smoke cigarettes together. They sit out back sometimes for a while, and they would even forget that their clients were in. I'd have to go to the back and be like, "Hey, your clients are here," because they would get so involved in talking. So I don't know as much as, maybe Miss Ann. And honestly, whenever I first started, she would tell me, I don't even remember what, she started telling me some things, and I would be like, I am not the person to ask. I can't give you any good counsel.